Hello and welcome to the Brand Retro Podcast. Today we have Chris Ratterman from Shady Sunglasses on. He's the founder and CEO of a very cool brand. And I didn't say this yet, Chris, but I actually started buying Shady sunglasses probably 6 years ago. And so I'm a brand lover, I'm a customer, and I'm somebody who actually wears your sunglasses all the time. I have multiple pairs. I have different colors. So I am constantly representing you. Welcome to the podcast. Hello and welcome to the Brand Retro Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to come on.
Well, I appreciate that. If you were buying our brand 6 or 7 years ago, that's even more appreciated because we were young. We were young 6 or 7 years ago. So that's awesome.
So I'll let you tell the story, but I was thinking about it as I was kind of getting ready for this. I was thinking, man, I bet when I started buying, he might have been packing these things up in his parents' house. But anyway, I'll let you start the story. Tell me how Shady Rays got started, where the concept came from, and just a little bit about the journey of, what it's been like the last 8 years, correct?
Last 8 years, company was founded in late 2012. And at that time, I was looking to build a brand. Sunglasses, something that I've always been very passionate about. So it's no surprise to most people that the sunglass industry is what a lot of people would call monopolistic, but there's a couple companies that own a lot of the brands, and so a lot of sunglasses are $200 plus, and on the low end there are what people refer to as gas station sunglasses, which might be mall kiosks or beach shops or very low end product, and then there's this white space in the middle. I wanted to set out and fix the main problem that I saw with sunglasses, which is losing or breaking them. And that is something that I found really resonated with other people too. And I just didn't think it made sense to go out and get dirty and play beach volleyball and get in the waves and get in the lake with a $200 piece of plastic. And we have nothing against other brands. I mean, these brands make great products too. But for me, I just couldn't get there. And so I was thinking about how do you solve that problem? And so for Shady Rays, replacing lost or broken sunglasses is really a true differentiator and something that we stand behind 100%. And we have since day one. And that's really part of the initial premise of the brand. I did bootstrap this. It was a side hustle at the very beginning. I was shipping them out of a side bedroom. I had the inventory under a bed. I was looking for that minimum viable product to test different sales channels, build a brand, build a logo, find manufacturers, make the website. And I was doing this mornings and nights for years, 2-3 years, really, really grinding and finding what worked and what resonated with people. At that time, I pretty quickly had more orders than I might be able to do before breakfast, right? And moved to my father's formal living room, mother and father's formal living room, and my father shipped all the orders from a card table and a label printer and a laptop and put them in garbage bags and drove them up to the post office. So you were probably one of those products that was in a garbage bag in my dad's backseat, driven up to the post office. Now we can fast forward. I might stop there for a minute if we want to divert in other ways. But you build from the side bedroom to that scenario to a 3PL, and to now we have a headquarters and fulfillment center where we fulfill every order.
What's interesting is I love the idea that you came at this, loving sunglasses but wanting to solve a problem. From being a customer myself, I don't think about wearing them or not wearing them because of that. Because price point's key as well, but I think the fact that I get to wear these things all the time now. I don't have to worry about losing, like you said, a $200 pair of sunglasses or weed whacking or driving the lawnmower with them or whatever. They are the go-to. And I love how you solved that problem and kind of took it a step further.
Yeah, that has been key. I think product quality, product for the price, and that value proposition is still number one. And you see that in other brands too. Other D2C brands like a Bombas Socks that has a 1-for-1 and charitable model. Still primary to that brand is a very high quality product for the money. And then they support it with other brand propositions and other differentiated elements. And that's the same with us. We're high quality for a fraction of the price, and the warranty and the charitable component. And it all kind of rolls up to what you talk about, which is that emotional connection and that overall value that we're giving to the customer.
Yeah, I'm going to make an observation here, but one of the reasons why I really adopted this brand as kind of my go-to is because I really like the retro vibe that you put out from the beginning, and that you still maintain in the kinds of frames, the bright lenses. It reminds me of I won't name the brand, but it reminds me of a brand that I used to have when I was a kid, in the 80s, 90s. And I really like that. And I like the way you've maintained it. Was that part of the overall scheme when you started, or what was kind of your thought process as far as what direction you wanted to take the brand from a frame lens perspective?
Well, number one, we want to have a very curated selection of in-demand styles. We don't want to have people are buying sight unseen, buy a picture, usually on their phone, and we don't need too many options that all look very similar. And a lot of brands get pretty wide with their product portfolio over time. And so we wanted to have a very curated selection of products that we were all very passionate about and really, really were vetted and work well and have bright colors and the right texture and finishes on the frames and the right quality elements, so we could really go quality over quantity. That's number one. We're looking at unique enhancements and design accents to frames and shapes that people already know and love. For example, an aviator. Many brands offer an aviator. We have our unique twist on an aviator, so that is one aspect of it. And then in addition, we're building with an in-house design team, we're building some pairs entirely from scratch. And we have patent pending sport wrap styles and styles that we begin with, pen and paper. And by we, I mean our illustrator, and take it from the ground up in that way. But we've evolved there, stayed more conservative and really put kind of our brand look and feel into early styles. And now we have a larger range.
Yeah, I think it's super cool the way you kind of took that inspiration and made your own thing, because now that have multiple pairs, I can definitely tell the innovation now is locked in to be yours. I mean, I can't tell you which ones are patented and whatnot, but as far as like how they fit, you guys are definitely doing something pretty unique. So that's cool. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is, which I thought was super cool, and I'm more up to speed today than I was previously, but I knew you guys were a very culture give back driven company, which I think is super cool. There's not enough companies out there doing it, in my opinion. And it seems to be kind of the lifeblood behind everything you guys do. Can you tell me a little bit about, kind of what things you're doing and what that overall mission and purpose is all about?
It is absolutely core to our brand in many ways and for many reasons. First and foremost, I was just literally not interested in building a company that sold product for cash. That wasn't enough to get me up in the morning, every morning at 5 a.m. And I wanted more of a purpose in what we're doing. So that was always key. And that's why we've been donating 10 meals to fight hunger in America since day one, and we still do today. So we're doing that 365 days a year. We came up with that charity, however, with our early customers. We were talking about different causes that they were passionate about, and hunger in America is something that just really resonated with people. And so we partnered with Feeding America, and we've grown with them, and we have that element. Over time, it's important for us that we are a nimble, do-good brand. So we support a variety of initiatives, from breast cancer awareness to autism awareness. We have an incredible charity to work with for autism awareness, and it's called Best Day Foundation on the West Coast. And they bring kids out and give them just a day of adventure and a day in the waves and just unforgettable moments. And we're able to fund those type of initiatives. I think from being a charitable brand is important for various reasons. Number one, it's not only the fact that I have an emotional tie and it creates purpose for my work, but it also does that for the rest of the team. And everybody's very engaged and brought together because of the work that we do and the charitable work that we do with every sale. It also, from a customer perspective, it elicits a lot of trust, and it's a very genuine cause for us. And so it's something that is really something that builds relationship with the customer, because we are donating meals to fight hunger with every order with each of those customers. And so you open the box and it says you donated 10 meals to fight hunger in America, and you did that with us and we did that with them. And so that's something that creates like a very, very strong relationship. In my opinion, there's a lot of definitions out there about what brand is. My definition of what brand is as simple as it's adding personality traits to a product or service. And if you talk about look personifying a product or service, you need to give a product or service a heart and soul. And so a product needs to stand for something and care about something, and doing good is a great way to show people what you care about and put your money where your mouth is. And so that's been important for us. And we have many other charitable initiatives that we're doing throughout the years, and we're reactive to different things that come up in the world. We're very tied in with Barstool Sports, for example. We've donated to the Barstool Fund, which funds small businesses that have been affected negatively by COVID, and there's a variety of other things. But that is a lot of the ways that it benefits the brand.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on, as you've been growing the brand, growing the culture, how do you translate that and communicate that to, as you're onboarding the team members, so that you get Kool-Aid drinkers, you got people that are coming on the team that love what you love and help you blow this thing up?
So we're fortunate in that it ends up being pretty easy. A lot of people come into even just the interviewing process and they already talk about the meals, they already talk about the brand, and they're already really interested. And that's sort of one of the gates in the first place, is to have that resonate with people. So we already have that coming in. I think that making it integral into the organization is to make sure that people see all the behind the scenes of, okay, we're giving 10 meals and there's millions of them, but what does that mean? How exactly are we funding those meals? How can we work more specifically with certain issues that come up, whether it's a hurricane in Houston or different areas that it's happened in the past, and we've been able to divert funds there. Really giving the behind the scenes of the real work that we're doing on a daily basis. And then a lot of our team is able to communicate with Feeding America. And we've done, we have an IGTV story with an interview with Feeding America team. And so we're very tied in. And in a non-COVID world, we would be doing some charity as a team at different food banks. And so I think that's how you make it real and keep it fluid within the team. But quite frankly, a lot of people come in and the majority of them are already interested in that aspect and passionate about it as kind of a result of applying for the company.
Is there an internal plan to continue to formalize and grow those things? I mean, I understand it's probably part of your everyday belief system and your core culture, but what are kind of your plans to evolve that and continue to give back in the future as you continue to grow?
So there's 3 levels of it. The first level is we have no plans to stop our 10 meals per order. And so as we grow, that scales, and that always happens. And so we're donating meals, every hour of every day throughout the year. And that's that level. We talked about that. The second level is these really marketing programs that are centered around a core cause. So breast cancer awareness is an example of that. We're developing a limited edition style. We're partnering with American Cancer Society. There's promotional elements about that pair that provides that they promote and that we promote, and there's content developed, and it's centered around October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we're donating a percentage of sales of those products sold. Now, that's great, because the very exciting things about that type of thing is you have people that are already customers of ours, and we are showing support and raising awareness of the cause, but also it gives them an opportunity and their friends and family an opportunity to buy a pair that they can give to somebody who has been affected, that is currently suffering or has recovered from breast cancer or other causes. And so we will do more of those programs centered around certain initiatives. And those are the 2 that we've done. We have more coming out this year. And so we'll extend that. And then the other thing we'll just continue to do is literally we'll just act as we see appropriate. Where we can be a force for good in the world, we want to be. So the forest fires happen in California. We talked to some first responder related charities, and we sent them $10,000. And that's just how we want to be able to react and act. And we're sharing that with our community, because again, their support is helping to lead that. So it spreads its wings in a lot of different ways, but that's how we look at it. And that's how we look to continue to grow it.
Yeah, and that's super cool, because anybody who just loves your brand for everything on the surface, it gives them that much more reason to love what's behind the surface, which is super cool. So thank you for sharing that. So shifting gears a little bit, tell me about marketing filters. So like I've been following your brand. Like I said, I get the sunglasses, I get the bag, I get the stuffers, I get the stickers, whatever else is in there. And it's just on point at all times. I love what you guys are doing on social media. I love the diversity. Everything looks very almost customer generated to some degree, which is super cool. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys approach that and how you've created such a loyal brand following with your customers?
From a brand look and feel, influencer and photography perspective, that is really built over time. In the early days, and when you're starting a brand from ground zero, it's messaging photographers on Instagram and trying to send them product and just get something to start.
Right.
That's 7+ years ago, right? Over time, you build those relationships, and there's a lot of photographers out there, and a lot of them are do amazing work and are not at the level where they're running photography studios. And so over time, we have this portfolio of people really throughout the country, in Austin, Texas, and Denver, Colorado, all throughout the West Coast, that can do photography with us. And now we have certain key photographers that we use, and we'll throw them new product, and we'll get shots back, and it's a very fluid arrangement. And so that's one. Two, we have someone who all day long, their only job is to recruit Instagram influencers. That's all they do. So, and those are micro influencers, and they might have 5,000 followers or 15,000. And sometimes we'll get a big hit and we'll get a backup quarterback in the NFL. But these are, we have larger celebrity programs. But in terms of micro influencers, we're doing that. And we're not pushing coupon codes with them and getting redemptions. Like, we're just sending them product if they're excited about the brand, and we want to get photos. And then a lot of that's what we share back. And so that's how we just have this constant flow of content that is just relevant and up to date. It's how people are using our product now, and it just naturally feeds into winter and fall and different countries that we're in. And so we're doing that. We're also very big on humanizing the brand and keeping a human touch on what we do. So a lot of brands can be larger and faceless, and you don't really know who's behind it. But like, we believe that we're really offering the real deal. It's not smoke and mirrors. We have our own team sitting in our headquarters, now remote, but we're typically sitting in our headquarters, that are answering every customer question. Certain people that are answering VIP questions. We're shipping every package. We're inspecting every pair. We're doing all of our ads, all of our marketing internal and our internal marketing department. And so we want to tell those stories too. But we also have a team here, but also around the country. We've more of our design, social media is out on the West Coast. We have teams in the Northwest, and so we can really kind of keep a pulse on everything cool outdoor adventure around the country.
Yeah, what I think is really cool about what you said is, I mean, there's a commercialized business machine type element to engineering and crafting the message and all the moving parts and the people and all this stuff. But what you mentioned is humanizing the brand, which is kind of coming back to you as the founder and the starter of it. And I would even say your images, your brand overall has an authenticity to it that it just, I think it sets you apart from a lot of the competition because of the way you guys have humanized the brand. And it comes across in your Instagram posts. And I think everything from whether it's a dog wearing the sunglasses or just the backdrop in which the photo was taken, it all looks very real, and it's fantastic.
I mean, people want real. Like, people want behind the scenes. Like, people want the real deal. They don't want the flashy cover of a magazine that was 10+ years ago. I mean, like, that's what I want as a customer. That's what you want as a customer. That's just human nature, and that's social media, and that's where we are. And so we're just trying to put our real selves out there, and we can be self-deprecating, and that's fine. And sometimes we'll put our flaws out there, and it's just all part of, again, like, just the human effect of the brand. We work with celebrities too, and even then, like, we're not looking for just the athletic uniform and all of the lights and the spotlight and the center court and that you would like typically expect. We're like, we just want you plain clothes hanging in your backyard with your family, and like, let's talk about products, right? So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking to do. Keep it a little more gritty.
Yeah, and actually, the more real, the better. I think people can relate to that, and they can actually see themselves in a similar place to that celebrity or that person wearing that stuff. So I think that's awesome. Last question here. Tell me a little bit about where they can find the products. I mean, obviously shadyrays.com. I know that, we had talked with you a little bit prior to the call about doing a promo code that we could offer to listeners as well. Tell us a little bit about where all they can find your stuff, and kind of how they cash in on that.
Absolutely. So you can find Shady Rays at our full collection at shadyrays.com. That is the only place where we offer all of our products. And that's not only sunglasses, but prescription eyewear and wearables. We do have an exclusive deal for the listeners of this podcast. You can use code RETRO on site for 50% off 2 or more pairs. So that's a BOGO deal. That's very, very deep discount for us. So if you're hearing this, you want to give us a try, you can use code RETRO for 50% off 2 or more. As it is all the time, we back up our product 100%. So if you don't love it, it's free returns or exchanges. You'll love them, pay nothing. But I'm not actually trying to drive sales here, but do want to give an offer if anybody is just interested in checking them out. But and other places you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, awesome. And just to kind of put it out there for the listeners too, like I really like sharing the brands that I personally endorse and personally love, and this is one of them. So trust me, you guys will not regret this if you go check out Shady Rays or buy some of their products. But also for the listeners that are, whether you're a marketing professional or somebody that loves branding, just keep an eye on these guys. They're doing a lot of cool things. They're fun to watch. They're fun to study, and they're a great model for what can happen, if you put a little grit behind your business and start something from scratch. So thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate the time, and you've been an outstanding guest, and, we'll see what happens here, but it's been great. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mike. I really enjoyed it.
If you'd like to learn more about the CyberDogs experience, check us out online at cyberdogsmarketing.com for updated blogs, new podcast episodes, examples of previous work, and the brands we have and are